Fly me to the moon. Something, something, something with Jupiter and Mars and Uranus. Wrong song, right? But Fly Me to the Moon. Scarlett Johansson. Chase Liaki here at the Blue Futon reviewing Fly Me to the Moon. You cannot just say Fly Me to the Moon. You gotta Fly Me to the Moon. Anyway, what's about pretty simple premises. Channing Tatum as one of the launch directors because, since Apollo 1, the horrible accident, he feels so damn guilty. But now we're about in Apollo 11 now, and the moon, no one cares about NASA. No one cares about going to the moon because of Vietnam and everything going on in the world. But now we have Scarlett Johansson that gets hired by the U.S. government, a.k.a. Woody Harrelson, saying, you know what? We need you to package the moon, so we want the USA to be like, yeah, get to the freaking moon and beat the damn commies. But what is going to happen? Who is actually Scarlett Johansson? What things does Channing Tatum have in his head that he just cannot get rid of? So, did I like this film? This is a pleasantly surprising good damn film. Holy cow. I would say the directing, really good. CGI, pretty good. Some green screen here and there that I could just kind of, as a sound stages kind of movie. Channing Tatum at his best. I can't remember the last time Channing Tatum was this good. Like, so freaking good. Probably like 21 Jump Street. Scarlett Johansson, fantastic. Ray Liotta, fantastic. Yeah, everyone loves Raymond. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? Woody Harrelson, great job. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Just the movie itself is such a pleasant, fun surprise where it's not afraid to show American flags. I'm looking at you, First Man. I'm looking at you. This does First Man. Even though First Man is more of a serious movie about Neil Armstrong, this one just feels more fun, more American. It just feels like it's a much more crowd pleaser than First Man, even though you can't really compare them. I think the best thing to compare this to is Anyone But You. How that was kind of a success story that no one saw coming. I think this one can be it. What I find interesting, though, is how this movie is not coming out 4th of July weekend. They decided to put it on July 12th, which I can understand it, but cannot understand it because the competition, of course, is Despicable Me 4. And, what other rom-coms are coming out? I don't see any, so maybe that's why they wanted to wait a week. But this is a 4-day weekend. They could have easily released it on a Wednesday and made some good money, in my opinion. I don't know if they're afraid of the marketing. I don't know if it's Apple Films. Even though every time I see the Apple logo, I just cringe because I'm such a Samsung person or just anti-Apple when it comes to that level. But no, seriously, the craft of this movie is fantastic. The look of the movie is good. The story itself is very interesting of what we get Channing Tatum and Scarlett Johansson. Yes, you could say that some elements are very predictable, very scripted, and you understand what is occurring. Sure. And also, there is one scene, you could tell that this movie wants to take a lot of, side jabs at Richard Nixon. Sure, why not? But be consistent with your writing. And what do I mean by that? There's a scene in the very, very beginning where Woody Harrelson and Scarlett Johansson in the moon talking about this product, Artemis or whatever, right? And Scarlett Johansson's like, does Richard Nixon know about this? And Woody Harrelson's like, the more he doesn't know, the better kind of thing. So at that point, it's kind of like the whole thing where there's some people not telling Trump the true things about Syria and Afghanistan. So then there's something later on in this movie that occurs, and Scarlett Johansson's assistant's like, this is why you don't work for Richard Nixon. You're like, well, does Richard Nixon actually know what is occurring behind the scenes? Because when you think about it, everyone's thinking, oh, the president must know everything going on. You really think all those middlemen tell the president every single thing? No, they don't. So there's a little flaws in that when it comes to the story of being consistent. So I'll give it that. I could say I wish they dug a little bit more into Channing Tatum's backstory. We do get enough of it. But this is this is based on true events, if you want to put it that way, because, Apollo 1 is a true event. Apollo 11 is a true event. Is the Scarlett Johansson character and Channing Tatum's character real? I don't know. Because with movies like this, you usually, when the credits are about to roll, you say, oh, this person did this and this person did this. You don't get none of that in this film. So you're like, I wonder what is real and what isn't. and that's a little bit of a bummer. But seriously, if you want a great rom-com, even though it's not that much romantic comedy, yes, you have the sparks of Channing Tatum and Scarlett Johansson, but it's not that predominant in the story. The true story is getting the American public to get behind NASA and to beat the damn commies. But I'll really enjoy this film. This is a pleasant surprise for me. It is a solid film. And I really hope, fingers crossed, that this is a sleeper hit. It needs to be. If anyone but you can be, why can't Fly Me to the Moon be a sleeper hit as well? And I do think it will be. So Fly Me to the Moon will receive a 4.5 out of 5 Futons, which equals that 90%. I am truly shocked I'm giving it such a good review. I truly am. But let's see what the critics' news scores gave this one. I'm going to guess it's not a lot. So we have nothing from the critics or users. So I'm the first one out there. And of course, I am giving it a freaking 90. Chase, like here at the Blue Futon. Like, comment, subscribe. One more things, Futontopia. You Blue Futonians take watch a great down. Come watch today, tomorrow, week, 5 month, or a year from now, every single freaking one of you. And Rotten Tomato, if you want me to be the first one on that thingamajig, I give you permission. If you want to use one of these dumbass quotes for on the DVD, this probably won't get a DVD release because it's Apple Films. What other Apple Films have there been? Argyle, no physical release. Napoleon, no physical release. Killers of the Flower Moon, no physical release.